Hello everyone, Lawrence Fleming here. I'm going to make this video and then I'm going to spend a good part of the day trying to figure out how to upload this. That big storm we had, it knocked out power and it knocked out the internet, so they haven't fixed everything yet. This is the government, they're not real fast. Keep that in mind for those of you depending on the government for the upcoming crisis. All right, we're continuing to wait. And we keep passing holy day after holy day, and there's nothing going on. In the background, there are things going on around the world that they frankly don't want us to know about. And so they're kind of keeping them quiet. You won't find them talked about a whole lot on the news, or if they do, it's going to be after it's been around on all the other media sources, and then the regular news will pick it up, only because they can't completely deny it. Cryptocurrency is having some trouble right now. It's expected. The government's going to take over with their own, but they can't rely on there being a private version out there. It has to be destroyed. Our dollar has to be destroyed in any other form of currency for them to come in with their own. So cryptocurrency is not a place to be. Frankly, the dollar isn't. But I don't know how we're going to survive without it unless you just use the money to stock up on things. If you've got stores of things that will keep, that's probably your best bet to go into this upcoming time frame. Just famines and that's not enough to trigger the rapture, unless it's going to wipe out all of Christianity. And that's the only reason for it. So God is capable of taking care of us. God is capable of handling anything the devil comes up with. He is going to give him some free rein, let his leash out a little bit. But the devil can't do anything without God's full approval, at least from the point of view of don't kill, but you can make people uncomfortable. That's kind of what he did with Job. And eventually he ended that and restored Job back to his fullness. But who are we talking about? Who is God? We've seen imagery of him. No one alive today has seen God. No human. Yeah, there's spirits running around. They've seen him, but no human has, because that generation is long gone. And God did not want us worshiping a figure, a symbol, an idol, for lack of a better word. We already have idols of Jesus hanging on crosses. Now, if we continue to worship the idol and not the man on the cross, then we're idol worshipers, and God doesn't like that. If it's just a reminder of who Christ is, that's fine. But you don't need that idol to know who Christ is. We have everything about him written in the Bible. We have the Spirit inside of us, so we know who he is. But who is God, and what did he create? He created everything. I'm going to read from this, but I could quote it. Genesis 1:1, right at the very beginning. And it starts off, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. He created heaven too. And there's layers of heaven, so there's plural, heavens. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the waters. God said, let there be light. So the light that we have to see, we weren't on the picture yet. Man wasn't there, so light was for God and the heavenly beings initially. And God saw the light and that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So it was the evening and the morning of the first day. There is so much figurative language in the early Bible. It's really hard to understand what was going on. How do you explain science, astrophysics, astronomy? How do you explain that to people who couldn't read or write? The early people that this was written for, there's no one around that could talk about it. Most of the Bible was an oral tradition, stories that were passed down. It was eventually written down, and there's different writing styles in Genesis as well. So it's like somebody wrote one part, somebody else wrote another part, and then they put it together, kind of like the Bible itself was written by different people and put together. It's not wrong, it's just that's the way it was put together. And you can't explain things to people that have no education. So the figurative parts of this that we look at, it's difficult to know. I look at it from the point of view that was the evening and the morning of the first day. Well, the earth is without form and void. How do you have a day? Our days are calculated based on the rotation of the earth, light and dark. So maybe and the word day is correct. Tall. So I mean, it's not like there's a translation issue. But what's the definition of a day? Just be open about it. I don't know. I'm not trying to rewrite it. I'm just telling you that some of it is hard to understand. It's not important for us to know the details. It wasn't important for them back then, so it's not important now. Just to know that God created the heavens and the earth. And God is plural in that biblical usage. The very first reference to the Trinity. All right. And no one's seen God, not on earth, except for Moses. You know, Moses talking to God, just like you and I are talking right now. Moses was talking to him and said, well, can't I see you? I want to see what you look like. And God said, no man can see me and live. So whatever the material of spiritual material that God and the angels are made of, it's not something that's compatible with us. That's why Jesus didn't just appear, he had to be born. So that way he'd be made of the same material that we are. Otherwise, we couldn't associate with him. It's going to be interesting to get these new bodies when we go to meet the Lord. Because these can't exist in his presence. Because Jesus is transformed now. Because he can be in heaven. Now also you know that you can go back and forth between heaven and earth as long as you have the new bodies. Satan does that all the time. He's about to get kicked out, but he's been doing it for years. They go back and forth. Our bodies, we can't go back and forth. So we need new ones. And many of us who are getting tired of these old ones that are wearing out would be happy for a new one. Let's take a look in Exodus. I think I've covered this before. I mean, I've done enough of these. I've covered probably everything, but Moses and God are talking. And just a quick aside from this, they're trying to build a full temple. They don't need to have a full temple to be carrying out the old practices. Now, the practice of having a temple or a tabernacle, as Moses had, is just a place for man and God to meet. They're going to build a new temple without God. How's that going to help them? Satan's going to use it, but God won't. They haven't caught on yet. They won't catch on until after the abomination of desolation. Then they're going to figure it out. But And they needed 144,000 for that. We can see it. The devil sees it. Man doesn't. So let's go to Exodus 33, and let's start at verse 18. So it's Moses speaking, and he said, "Please show me your glory." Then he said, that's God talking, "I will make all my goodness pass before you, and I will proclaim the name of the Lord before you. And I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion." But he said, "You cannot see my face, for no man can see me and live." And the Lord said, "Here is a place by me, and you shall stand on the rock, so that it shall be, while my glory passes by, that it will put you in a cleft of the rock, and will cover you with my hand while I pass away. And I shall take away my hand, and you shall see my back, but my face shall not be seen." God cared enough about Moses to let him see what no man had seen. It's amazing that there haven't been more people like that. We get one story. Now people are going to say, "Well, I saw God. I had lunch with him yesterday at Starbucks." We're not talking about crazy people. We're talking about someone who was mature in his faith, someone who believed God, believed in him enough that God would trust him. And yet he was human, fallible, made plenty of mistakes, but God stayed with him. God will stay with us as we make mistakes. That's one thing we know about God, is he is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He's not going to be changing. Satan would have us change God all the time, because that's the way he behaves. Satan does. God cannot do wrong, where Satan takes pleasure in it. The world's going to find out soon enough who the real God is. They're going to find out that the imposter doesn't live up to the reputation of God. He can't be God. We create little gods all the time in our mind, in our movies and different things, but none of them can equal our God. So be worthy of our God. He is all things to all of us, but he is most in need of us. He created us for his pleasure and enjoyment, and he wants nothing more than for us to return that love. He's very deserving of it, and that was the word I was looking for. We'll get to see him eventually, either the natural way or the express way. They're both ahead of us. We're all going to die eventually, and some will get to go up into the clouds and meet Jesus in the rapture, and there are multiple raptures. The first one is somewhere near the beginning of the tribulation time frame. There's also one at the end. Those that tell me that there's none in the beginning, that there's only one in the end, they've got it half right. You don't want to be half right with God. You want to have it all the way. Go back and reread your stuff and throw out your teachings that tell you there's only one rapture. Open your mind and look. Listen to the teachings of those that teach a pre-trib rapture, for instance. Now, they've got some of the numbers and some of the dates and things wrong too. No one really has it fully understood. Most of the Bible talks about the second coming, and it's definitely coming. We don't know how far away it is. The only time that we can calculate is from the midway point of the 70th week of Daniel. And that's 3.5 years in, and we don't know where the beginning is. We're not supposed to know. But when it starts, that steamroller is going to roll right over everybody. So we want to get out of here. And that's why we have an early rapture, the rapture of the church. We're not meant for wrath, and we're also the restrainer. Two biblical references why we need to be out of here. Matthew's usually talking about the second coming. You're really only going to find the rapture mentioned by Paul. And it's in some of the Old Testament, but again, you got to kind of compare old and new and see where the verses are. But all this is just information to fill our heads with. We need to be representatives of God. We need to do exactly what Christ showed us how to do, to love one another, to know we are Christians by our love. Repeat that and you got a song. That's more important. We could argue over dates. I can tell you right now that in this exact location, in 1841, nothing important happened. How do I know that? I don't. I'm making it up. But so do other people that make up occurrences for dates looking at the Bible. They don't know. They may see a dream or a vision and they think it's from God. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. How do you prove that? If the dream goes against the Bible, it's wrong. If it doesn't, again, it's head knowledge that we have to fill ourselves with. Maybe pride if you figure that God has taken the time to give you a dream. Dreams are fun. We all dream. Someone like me, though, I'm never aware. Well, seldom aware. Okay, a bumblebee flying around me. Go find a flower. There's nothing wrong with dreams. It's the interpretation of dreams that become a problem. The Old Testament people had these dreams and they believed in them. And the prophets could interpret them. If you're dreaming without a prophet, then there's a problem. Enjoy the dream, have fun with it. It shows you possibilities. But it doesn't show you the gospel. All right. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I'm going to have to find a place where I can upload this to you. We're going to work on it. It might take all day. At the price of gas, I don't want to drive 30 miles to upload a video, so it's going to take a while anyway, even if I do that. I'm going to go see if I can find a strong enough cell signal and upload spoonfuls at a time until it gets to you. I may have to even make shorter videos if they don't get the Wi-Fi fixed soon. You probably just have to reboot it, but that takes somebody who knows how to work the ON/OFF switch. A lot of people don't know all that stuff, that technical. Okay. We're going to continue to watch because it's fun to watch and expect God to come back and get us at any time. I see the sun's rising behind me. You see that? Peeking through the trees. It's going to be another hot one, but I'm okay. We've got air conditioning, so we're okay. But we're going to be with God soon enough. Don't be in too big of a hurry. Maybe we haven't learned everything we need to learn here. Maybe we haven't helped everybody we need to help. Don't rush God. Have patience with Him. God will take care of our needs, whether we're here or whether we're in heaven. We're going to have needs in heaven too. But we're going to be near God and with Jesus, so we don't have very far to go to get help. Okay. Be kind to everyone today. Find someone that needs your help. It's the least you could do while we wait. Till we meet in the clouds. God bless.